Hello, good to have you join us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguwele. My sign language interpreter is John Bamidele. Let's begin with the headlines. Zimbabwe's cabinet approved sweeping changes to the constitution to extend President Emerson Mnangagwa's term till 2030. Federal Road Safety Corps secures 2 months conviction of a one-way reckless driver without an option of fine. And federal government plans to deepen collaboration with Benue State to fast-track agro-industrial development. Zimbabwe's cabinet approved sweeping changes to the constitution as part of a bid to extend 83-year-old President Emerson Mnangagwa's term till 2030. Angering opposition figures who warned any changes had to be put to a national referendum. From Apine reports.
Mnangagwa came to power in 2017 in a military-backed coup that ousted Robert Mugabe, who was president for 30 years, and his ZANU-PF announced plans in October to extend his term beyond 2028. The approved amendments include extending the presidential term from 5 to 7 years and having Parliament choose the president instead of electorate, a cabinet statement said. Opposition politicians and analysts insisted it will require the approval of 2/3 of both houses of Parliament, which is weighed towards the ZANU-PF and an additional referendum.
The proposed amendments are illegal and unconstitutional in that they infringe the term limitation provisions of the Constitution, and more importantly, they seek to do them outside, two referendums. The first referendum approving the removal of the term limit. The second referendum approving the incumbent to benefit from the amendments.
The ruling party's 2030 agenda has been on the cards for months, prompting opposition leaders to vow to defend the constitution against its capture. Other provisions include allowing the president to appoint 10 more senators, boosting the Senate to 96. The constitutional limit of 2 5-year presidential terms was introduced in 2013. Frama Pani, NTA News.
A cyclone packing violent winds has killed at least 20 people as it struck Madagascar, toppling houses and causing major flooding. The Indian Ocean Island Disaster Authority stated Cyclone Gazani made landfall, slamming into the country's second largest city, Toamasina, with winds reaching 250 kilometers, that is about 155 miles per hour. 15 people were missing and at least 33 had been hurt, updating earlier tolls. Drone footage shared by BNRGC on social media showed major flooding in the east coast city of 400,000 people, with roofs ripped off buildings and trees uprooted. There had been massive damage in the Atsinanana region around the city, the authority said, adding that post-disaster assessments were still underway. The cyclone weakened on landfall but continued to sweep across the island, posing the risk of flooding. Cyclone season in the southwest of the Indian Ocean normally lasts from November to April and sees around a dozen storms each year. British Columbia Premier David Abbey has described the shooting of 9 school children as devastating tragedy at a press conference in Tumbler Ridge. From Apine reports.
The shooting took place in a remote part of Western Canada, authorities said, a rare mass shooting in the country. The suspect, described by police in an initial emergency alert as a female in a dress with brown hair, was found dead with an apparent self-inflicted injury, officials said. The attack occurred in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, a picturesque mountain valley town in the foothills of the Rockies. Prime Minister Mark Carney said he was devastated by the horrific acts of violence and announced he was suspending plans to travel to the Munich Security Conference on Wednesday, where he had been set to hold talks with allies on transatlantic defense readiness.
This is a devastating and unimaginable tragedy. We can't imagine what the community is going through, but I know it's causing us all to hug our kids a little bit tighter tonight.
Police said an alert was issued about an active shooter at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School on Tuesday afternoon. As police searched the school, they found 6 people shot dead. A 7th person with a gunshot wound died en route to the hospital. Separately, police found 2 more bodies at a residence in the town. Officers were searching other homes and properties in the community to see if there were additional sites connected to the incident. Frama Panyi, NTA News.
In other news, the International Fund for Agricultural Development is mobilizing resources that will support food production, poverty eradication, and employment for millions of people around the world. This was made known during the second day of the Governing Council meeting chaired by Nigeria. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
Distinguished governors,
this is the second day of the International Fund for Agricultural Development's Governing Council meeting, which is taking place in Rome. The meeting was chaired by the chairperson of the Governing Council, Nigerian Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari. The meeting received reports on the financial status of the organization and the commitment by the member states. The reports indicate that as of December 2025, there was a pledge of $1.57 billion.
Payments received as of the end of December 2025 amounted to $583 million.
Today outlines the proposed arrangement.
Report on IFAD 14 was also presented. IFAD 14 is a 2026-2027 consultation process to secure funding and set a strategic priorities for the United Nations agency from 2028 to 2030. It focused on financing the first meal of food system, prioritizing market integration, rural youth empowerment, and building climate conflict resilience for 3 billion rural people. The chairperson, Abubakar Kyari, announced that with available resources, IFAD will continue to have a positive impact on agriculture, food security, and poverty eradication in rural communities.
The replenishment consultations are vital to ensuring that IFAD has the required resources to continue its work, its wonderful work in advocating for smallholder farmers as key agents in change in transforming rural livelihoods.
Nigeria is one of IFAD's largest portfolio countries in Africa, with ongoing initiatives focused on value chain development, food security, and rural entrepreneurship. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
In a world increasingly defined by geopolitical competition, economic uncertainty, climate issues, as well as complex security challenges, partnerships such as Nigeria-China relations must be continually examined through the lens of peace, stability, and sustainable development. Well, these formed opinions of speakers at a dialogue in Abuja to mark the 55th diplomatic relations between Nigeria and China, organized by Center for China Studies and the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution. Chukunonso Mwabuize reports.
With Nigeria and China enjoying more than half a century of diplomatic relations, this dialogue with the theme Nigeria-China relations at 55 and beyond provides an important platform for these diplomats, scholars, policymakers, as well as private sector players to assess successes, identify emerging challenges, and explore how the partnership can better respond to contemporary realities.
The friendship between China and Nigeria has grown ever stronger and more vibrant. Looking to the future, our comprehensive strategic partnership will continue to open new horizons.
By lowering barriers to the Chinese market, the zero tariff treatment creates new incentives for Nigerian producers in agro-processing, textiles and apparel, leather, solid minerals processing, and other value-adding sectors.
As an essential part of mutual learning and both civilizations for purpose of enriching our common effort and modernization, we should pay attention to each other's governance practices and extract lessons without any attempt to copy each other mechanically.
At the IPCR, we believe that sustainable development and durable peace are inseparable. Economic partnerships must be people-centered, conflict-sensitive, and aligned with national and regional stability goals.
In his keynote address, Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, harps on strategic economic diplomacy with China that would transform Nigeria from mainly consumption to production-based economy.
You can come and build the ports. You can come and build the airports, come and build the roads, that's fine. We have no objections, but you know what we want more than anything else is come and build power plants, come and build factories, employ workers, produce goods in Nigeria, and then pay taxes, and then you can repatriate your profit.
The consensus at this dialogue is expected to generate practical insights as well as relevant policy instruments that can further deepen Nigeria-China relations in the coming years, with great emphasis on the transformation of Nigeria's economic fortunes through industrialization. Chukunon Sonwabweze, NTN News.
Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Soludo says his government is set to breathe life back to the social and economic sectors of the state after putting an end to the sit-at-home practice hitherto foisted on people in southeastern states by non-state actors. The governor, who had a private audience with President Bola Tinubu, spoke to State House correspondents afterwards. Anambra State government recently took a step which put an end to the Monday sit-at-home. The governor explained that the practice has cost the state huge economic losses while it lasted. He disclosed that since the inception of his administration, 62 criminal camps have been dislodged, adding that considering the future of the state and the region, his government will not allow criminality to fester again in Anambra.
And they're not there anymore. And anywhere again they try to settle, we get on there and deal with them decisively. We can't allow criminality to dominate our place. And even more recently, I mean, these criminals have held the southeast region hostage. And for 5 years, for more than 5 years, every Monday there was a criminal, very debilitating, destructive Monday sit-at-home. The schools, aside from the capital cities, you know, the 5 southeast states, the capital cities, you know, no sit-at-home on Mondays. But then the rest of the places were mostly under lock and key, and this can't continue. And we decided that this year must be an end. Enough is enough. And I'm happy that so far we're taking back our region, we're taking back our state.
Stakeholders in the road sector have commended the federal government, the Borno state government and security agencies for concerted efforts in supporting contractors handling major federal road projects in the state to return to their sites. The commendation was given during a tour by the Federal Ministry of Works National Media Team to Maiduguri, aimed at monitoring, federal government road intervention projects. Usman Zubairu reports.
Borno State, which was one of the most volatile states, is now enjoying relative peace. With this development, the state is witnessing massive infrastructural development under the renewable agenda of President Tinubu's administration. The Federal Controller of Works Borno State admitted that insecurity had in the past slowed down major road projects in the state, but effort by the government and security agencies have restored confidence, enabled contractors to return to their site.
In the previous years, the contractor could not even work beyond the first 1 kilometer, but the security situation has really improved now. The contractor has cleared up to 15 kilometers, and he has achieved 5.8 kilometers up to Binder course.
Well, sometimes you can even move to Kano, so to bring it down. So almost every day our trucks are moving up and down. So we are spending even a lot in the haulage. But alhamdulillah, things are moving now.
Ours as experts, what we are after is quality, timely completion, as well as judicious use of the finances that are being allocated for these projects.
Among ongoing rehabilitation work inspected at the Maiduguri Mongono Road project, phase 1, the 105 kilometers project is progressing steadily, consists of flexible pavements with asphaltic concrete shoulders. In addition, rehabilitation of the Kaga Gubio Road section 1 and others in Benishek town affected by the recent floods were inaugurated. Osmonsville, NT News.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. The Federal Road Safety Corps has secured the conviction and sentencing of a traffic offender to 2 months imprisonment without the option of fine following a special joint intervention patrol along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. In a statement signed by the Corps Public Education Officer Segun Ogunbemide, the conviction, which was handed down by the Ojodu Abiodun Magisterial District Court, stemmed from a coordinated enforcement operation launched on 10th February 2026 to address the persistent and dangerous practice of motorists driving against the flow of traffic along the Kara-Opik axis of the expressway. The illegal act had escalated due to ongoing bridge expansion joint construction works on both the inward and outward sections of the corridor. The FRSC Court Marshal Shehu Mohammed says the court will continue to maintain zero tolerance for traffic violations that endanger lives. He assured the motoring public that sustained enforcement operations will continue along critical corridors nationwide. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, has received members of the World Bank team led by Awa Dagne in Abuja. The visit was a preparatory technical meeting between the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation and the World Bank Group ahead of the 39th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union, scheduled to hold in Ethiopia, February 2026. Discussions followed on the process of developing a water sector compact and the need to strengthen synergy to accelerate wash sector projects and programs in Nigeria, with a view to ensuring sustainable access to water and enhance food production. The meeting also deliberated on vision, sustainability and commitment, as well as the need for greater inclusion of states and the private sector in approved collaborative projects and initiatives. The electricity market in Nigeria is evolving thanks to the new Electricity Act 2023, which decentralizes power generation, transmission and distribution. The development came with much progress and challenges, of course, so the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, is engaging judges on their emerging legal issues for effective adjudication. Joshua Ojito reports.
New law with the reforms changing the regulatory landscape of the power sector, which empowers subnationals to regulate electricity matters. While this came with opportunities for the electricity market, the market has equally moved from a single regulator to multiple regulators. So far, 16 states have been granted approval to regulate electricity matters within their jurisdiction. This means more work for the judges. Hence, this seminar, organized by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, in collaboration with the National Judicial Institute, to equip judges on how to navigate different states' laws and regulatory instruments for resolution of electricity matters.
The federal government remains committed to working closely with the subnational government, the judiciary, regulators, and all stakeholders to ensure that these reforms are effectively translated into improved service delivery and sustainable sector growth.
Judicial vigilance is essential to ensure that regulatory agencies
act within the limits of their lawful authority, striking an appropriate balance between efficient sector management and the protection of constitutional rights and equitable outcomes.
These specific sector reforms will boost our electricity supply, integrate renewable energy, promote competition, increase access to affordable electricity, and mitigate disputes.
Several initiatives are also currently being championed by the Commission, including regulatory framework to attracting private investment in transmission, powering the real economy, and creating center or clusters of excellence with reliable electricity.
Issues arising from this regulation, operation, and governance now feature prominently on judicial dockets in our courts nationwide. This seminar is therefore both timely and necessary.
The 3-day seminar is expected to stimulate discourse on the emerging legal issues relevant to the Nigerian electricity supply industry, as well as appraise the judiciary in the ongoing reforms. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
A bit of politics now. Ahead of the 2027 general elections, Nigerian youths have begun a nationwide campaign against electoral violence with a pledge to put an end to political thuggery associated with electoral activities. At the campaign flag-off in Abuja, the National Youth Organization decried the menace of electoral violence, for which youths have been the major victims over the years, while unveiling the 2026 National Security Emblem for Peace and Political Tranquility. The national president of the association called on the youths to be directly involved in national peace building in order to tackle the problem of insecurity across the country.
It is our view that the youth should get involved in governance. We should participate. We should also contest the election. Let the old ones vote for us. It is not only the youth voting for the old people all the time. Let them vote for us this time around. So we believe that the youths, we are going to be actively involved both in selecting those that will lead us and also becoming part of the people that will drive leadership in our dear country.
Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, who was represented at the event, pledged the party's commitment to the interest of the youths across the country. The federal government, through the National Social Investment Program Agency, has flagged off the Farmer Money Dry and Wet Season program to empower farmers. The initiative is part of federal government's efforts in supporting smallholder farmers with without interest and no collateral loans of up to 300,000 naira.
It's not easy for me before they giving the money. The money do me good because I'm using it. I'm going to market and buying the feeding of the chicken.
A testament from Augustina Chidebere, a mother of 3 and a small-scale farmer. She is one of the beneficiaries of the Renewed Hope Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program JIP 3.0 for the Farmer Money Dry and Wet Season, an initiative by the National Social Investment Program Agency to empower smallholder farmers to boost productivity and build resilience within communities.
Through this program, micro and small-scale entrepreneurs, artisans, traders, and informal sector operators are being provided with access to affordable financial support that enables enterprise growth, job creation, and opportunity stability.
These initiatives respond effectively to both immediate vulnerabilities and long-term development objectives.
By empowering women farmers, we are directly improving household incomes and earning potentials, nutrition outcomes, community stability, and national food security.
The flag-off of the 2026 Dry and Wet Season Farmer Money Program is a strategic investment in national stability and resilience.
The JIP 3.0 Farmer Money also offers a pathway to boost food security by providing relief to farmers who have limited access to credit by offering free interest and non-collateral loan of 300,000 naira.
So first of all, you have to be a Nigerian. You have to be above 18 years of age. You must own a land or rent a land. So you have to be already into farming activity, and you must belong to a farming cooperative.
The program is targeting 22,000 small-scale farmers across the 6 geopolitical zones with a 3-month moratorium which allows farmers to invest in production before repayment. In Abuja, the federal government is deepening collaboration with Benue State to fast-track agro-industrial development through science, technology and innovation. Now, this follows a courtesy visit by Benue State Deputy Governor Sam Ode to the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Dr. Kingsley Ode, SAN, in Abuja. The minister reaffirmed government's commitment to leveraging innovation to drive food security, industrialization and economic growth. He also highlighted the commercialization of research and the implementation of 30% value addition policy as key to reducing raw material exports and boosting local processing. Describing Benue as the nation's food basket, Dr. Ude said the state is strategic to Nigeria's shift from primary commodity production to value-driven agro-processing, capable of creating jobs and increasing revenue.
That raw material.
Nigeria is moving to curb the export of unprocessed raw materials as the Raw Materials Research and Development Council marks 38 years with a new policy mandating at least 30% local value addition before export. Justin Bem Oyi reports. We don't have that report ready. We'll move to other issues. President Bola Tinubu has nominated Ambassador Ismail Abba Yusuf as the new chairman CEO of the National Hajj Commission. The appointment is subject to the Senate's approval in accordance with the provisions of Section 3, Subsection 2 of the NACON Act 2006. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Nanuga, President Tinubu sent a letter to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio requesting the expeditious confirmation of Ambassador Yusuf to replace Professor Abdullahi Usman, who resigned this week after about 14 months in the post. Ambassador Yusuf is a seasoned Nigerian career diplomat who served as the Nigerian Ambassador Extraordinary and to the Republic of Turkey from 2021 to 2024. And that's where we end the news. Thank you very much for your time. I'm Ruth Aguwele. My sign language interpreter is John Bamidele.